Continuing with the themes I was examining earlier, indeed, during the Cold War years and in the years afterwards, indeed up until the modern day, the intelligence agencies of the West and the Soviet Union and then its successor, the Russian Federation, have been attempting to utilize schizophrenic population individuals as spies. Indeed, there is a program to create spies, agents, and operatives out of schizophrenics. Indeed, I'm not sure exactly what purpose this serves, but I believe it's a rather interesting plan because schizophrenics would make the best spies. Indeed, due to the encryption of truth within the schizophrenic mind, the schizophrenic could possibly become torture proof. Indeed, there would be so many layers of crazy for the torturer to get through that they may never be able to get the real secrets out of the schizophrenic spy. So it makes sense that the intelligence agencies of the West and the Soviet Union would attempt to create spies out of schizophrenics. Indeed, it seems that the idea was the creation of a super spy concept. Indeed, while some schizophrenics were programmed as serial killers and maniacs, other schizophrenics were programmed as spies. Indeed, many schizophrenic super spies are most probably operative within the intelligence services of the West and the Russian Federation. Indeed, as I stated before, the mental hospitals in the United Kingdom are full of people who have been programmed in some way by British intelligence. Indeed, many of these schizophrenics may indeed be former, though you're never actually a former intelligence operative, may be British intelligence operatives who have basically broken out of their programming or worked out what's going on, or have just realized that there's something seriously nefarious about British intelligence, and therefore they have been railroaded into the psychiatric hospital system, which is one of the intelligence service's favorite places to dispose of its more difficult assets. Indeed, the mental hospital system is itself run by British intelligence. Indeed, the mental hospital system in the United Kingdom is overseen by British intelligence operatives who are initiates of the Order of Malta, therefore Hospitallers, who are themselves these days a Templar continuum. And it all interlinks. Indeed, MI6 have complete dominance over the psychiatric hospital complex. Indeed, it's MI6 that oversee the mental hospital complexes rather than MI5, i.e. the security services, even though often the security services do dispose of people who are too difficult within society within the MI6 psychiatric hospital establishments. Indeed, if any of my former psychiatrists were watching these videos, they would probably use these as the justification to certify me as clinically insane once again and drag me back into the psychiatric hospital system. Indeed, many of the psychiatrists within the British mental health system are themselves contracted by the intelligence services, and a lot of these operations are clandestine, and the psychiatrist will never reveal to the patient, or indeed many of the other staff in the hospital, that they are being contracted by the intelligence services. Indeed, many psychiatrists within the British mental health system also have sidelines in programming. So indeed, many psychiatrists are actually programmers, and indeed, the majority of psychiatrists in Britain are Freemasons and are therefore part of this overarching agenda. Indeed, the majority of psychiatrists also have disdain for mental patients, which is very interesting considering mental patients give psychiatrists a very lucrative career. But there is still disdain within the mentality of the psychiatrist for the mental patient. Indeed, I've met very few psychiatrists who actually care about psychiatric patients. Indeed, the majority of psychiatrists mock psychiatric patients, and psychiatrists also dismiss everything a schizophrenic says, even if the psychiatrist has cryptocratic connections and is aware that the mental patient is actually an intelligence asset, i.e. a super spy. Everything that the psychiatric patient says will still be dismissed as simple delusion by the psychiatrist. So it's all a very interesting state of affairs in this regard. Indeed, I'm not sure of the total number of schizophrenic operatives within the Western and Russian intelligence services, but I imagine that these schizophrenic super spies number in the thousands. Indeed, many are beginning to break out of their programming and have been breaking out of their programming ever since the idea was conceived during the early years of the Cold War. And most of these super spies simply end up incarcerated in mental hospitals for the duration of their lives. Indeed, I've just lost my trail of thought. Completely lost my trail of thought. This is the problem at the moment, that the psychotronic beaming that I'm being affected with is ruining my thought patterns sometimes. Although I'm able to pick up certain frequencies and transmissions due to the extrasensory phenomenon caused by the radioactivity within the psychotronic beams, at some points I absolutely lose my trail of thought completely and start going off somewhere else in my brain, or I just go blank, which is very annoying, really. Indeed, this video was going so well up until this point. Let's try and get it back on track. Indeed, the British intelligence services, through the Mindgate program, which began in 1947, first targeted schizophrenics for experimentation in psychiatric hospitals via implanting them with microchips. Indeed, it's interesting to see the effect that these microchips can have on people. Indeed, Lee Harvey Oswald, the supposed assassin of JFK, who didn't actually assassinate JFK at all, Lee Harvey Oswald had a microchip in his head and was being programmed to basically do all this crazy stuff before the assassination. Indeed, he was basically creating a lot of contradictory viewpoints that he was very public about and was just behaving very erratically. And he was designated as a patsy. Indeed, there are fingerprints of intelligence all over Lee Harvey Oswald's life. And also Jack Ruby, the guy who was set up to assassinate Lee Harvey Oswald, who may or may not have fired the shots that killed Lee Harvey Oswald. Jack Ruby also had a microchip in his head, and he was being programmed to behave as he did, which is very interesting. Indeed, many serial killers and political assassins have also claimed to have been implanted with microchips, which is most probably the truth. Indeed, it seems Jack Ruby was killed by a fast-acting cancer by the US intelligence services due to the things he was saying after he was incarcerated for murdering Lee Harvey Oswald. Indeed, he was claiming that there was a shadow entity that was a fascist Nazi network that had taken over the United States. And indeed, this is true, because the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst had, by this point, pretty much infiltrated all the levels of the United States government and bureaucracy and military and intelligence services. So, even though it may not seem that we live in a Nazi fascist state today, we do. It's just very, very cleverly concealed. Indeed, it's taking a different form than the fascist regimes of the 1930s and 40s, however, and it's updated also for the modern world. But the utterings of these microchipped maniacs are very poignant and very true to what is actually occurring. Indeed, the concept of the schizophrenic super spy is very fascinating, and it's interesting to note that these assets of the intelligence services are deniable assets. So if anything goes wrong in the operations of one of the schizophrenic super spies, the respective intelligence agencies that are coordinating the activities of these schizophrenic super spies can deny that they have any connection to the schizophrenic super spy, and indeed they could simply hope that other agencies, opposing agencies, will simply believe that this person is not a spy for an intelligence agency at all. This person is in fact simply a deranged paranoid schizophrenic. So it's a very clever concept that was conceived by the intelligence agencies during the Cold War. The creation of schizophrenic super spies as deniable assets, just as the concept of schizophrenic ghosts that I've explored in other videos is a very clever concept by the intelligence services. Indeed, the creation of serial killers and maniacs that serve a purpose to cover up for elite Masonic / KGB ritual killings and the activities of various criminal satanic syndicates. It's a very clever concept that the Cryptocracy have created. Indeed, these two branches, the schizophrenic ghosts and the schizophrenic super spies, are basically often created in the same facilities, but to serve different functions within the overall intelligence agenda. Indeed, schizophrenic super spies are never truly accepted by the intelligence agencies. Even if they are successful in their operations, they never receive any credit for it from the intelligence agencies that are handling them. And indeed, they are often programmed and reprogrammed and have their memories erased and have alters created within their personalities. And this allows for continuing deniability and also is representative of the saneism within the Masonic hierarchy in the West and the KGB hierarchy in the Soviet Union and later the Russian Federation. Indeed, the people running the intelligence agencies would not like to admit that they value schizophrenics for espionage purposes. And also, schizophrenic super spies are seen by their respective intelligence agencies as disposable. So they're often burned by their intelligence agencies in the end. Even though they are not always necessarily murdered by the intelligence agencies that handle them, they are usually railroaded into mental hospitals. And if they speak out against the intelligence services that are handling them in any way, they are often defamed in some way. Indeed, the usual accusations that the Cryptocracy come up with is sexual deviancy and these kind of things. Indeed, it's an easy way to dispose of a threat is to label them as sexual deviant, which is interesting considering the entire upper echelons of the Cryptocracy are all sexual deviants. So it's very interesting the hypocrisy there. Indeed, I'm going to research further into the mind control operations of the British, United States, and Soviet and later Russian intelligence agencies, but it seems that there was an overarching control group of this. Indeed, this control group was responsible for the assassination of JFK also, and this control group seems to be found within the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst. who seem to be running the show. Now, I was wondering whether or not the Bavarian Illuminati operate through the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst, or the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst operate through the Bavarian Illuminati, or are these two tentacles in fact one organization? It seems more likely that the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst is the overarching intelligence group that contains the Bavarian Illuminati and various other German Templar and occult orders, such as your Ordo Templi Orientis networks and your Society of Thule, and the various associated networks of these groups. So it's very interesting to think that the Nazis in the Second World War really mastered mind science, and I wouldn't be surprised if they had their own networks of schizophrenic operatives, despite the T4 program, Tiergartenstrasse 4 program, which exterminated over 90% of the schizophrenics in Nazi Germany. It seems that perhaps they were experimenting also with the schizophrenic super spy concept, and it seems perhaps that the knowledge gleaned from these experiments was passed on to the Western and Soviet intelligence services after the cessation of Second World War hostilities. And therefore we have the schizophrenic super spy phenomenon beginning around 1947. Indeed, I'm going to end it there.